Welcome, my friends. If you follow this channel, you already know that layoffs are basically in full-on mode in technology companies. In fact, there has been so much layoff news that I have had difficulty finding time to cover anything else. You have heard about the 50% layoff at Twitter, the 11,000-person layoff at Meta, and the 10,000-person layoff at Amazon, and many others. But I know that you are all waiting to hear how many people Google will lay off. Also, if you follow this channel, you know that a major activist Google shareholder is demanding layoffs. Activist investor TCI Fund Management holds a $6 billion stake in Google parent company, Alphabet. TCI told Google CEO Sundar Pichai that both salary expenses and headcount must come down. According to TCI, this must be done using a much more aggressive action than by stealth layoffs. TCI has made the case that compensation and headcount at Google are just way too high. Much higher, in fact, than at other companies in the rest of Silicon Valley. Google remains one of a few tech companies that has not yet formally announced major layoffs. Right now, Google employees are nervous. This video continues our coverage of the wave of layoffs sweeping the United States and the ever more real prospect of layoffs at Google. What does it mean for Google? What does it mean for technology companies? What does it mean for Silicon Valley? What does it mean for the economy? And what does it mean for the future of the United States? But, before we get into all of that, please press the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Another major tech titan is bracing for thousands of layoffs. While tech companies like Meta Inc., Twitter and Salesforce have been in the headlines for layoffs lately, there's one Bay Area tech giant we haven't heard about cutting jobs. But that could be about to change. Google is planning on laying off about 6% of its workforce, roughly 10,000 people, that managers characterize as underperforming, according to a report in The Information. The search engine giant is implementing a new performance management system, according to the report. This could enable managers to start getting rid of underperforming employees beginning next year. The system could also be leveraged as a means to avoid paying employees bonuses and stock grants, the report states. The reports come amid a wave of layoffs across much of the tech sector. Google is considering 10,000 layoffs based on a ranking system that would cut the lowest-ranked, poor-performing employees, according to a report in The Information. The new system helps establish clear expectations and provide employees with regular feedback, a Google spokesperson said in a statement. The spokesperson declined to comment on potential job cuts. Google has avoided the bloodletting of much of its big tech companies. But a weak ad market and worsening macroeconomic conditions are forcing Google to tighten its belt. Google CEO Sundar Pichai said it is essential to make the company 20% more efficient. This past summer, Pichai unveiled Simplicity Sprint to increase efficiency in a weak economy. Like many tech companies, Google hired like crazy during the pandemic. But shareholders say its workforce and operating expenses are bloated. Activist shareholder Sir Christopher Hahn said Google's payroll was too high and should be cut dramatically. The ever-expanding list of tech companies shedding workers is growing by the day. HP plans to lay off 6,000 employees over the next 3 years. Cisco Systems announced a plan to slash 5% of its employees. Facebook parent company Meta Platforms announced that it is eliminating more than 11,000 jobs. And other big tech names are in on the layoff act. Amazon, Intel, Roku. Meanwhile, over at Twitter, that drama continues to unfold. Elon Musk has ordered thousands of layoffs, which were followed by mass resignations. The turmoil at Twitter has kept it in the news for the past few weeks. Critics are saying that it has seriously damaged the company's reputation and operations. But many observers believe that tech job cuts and hiring freezes was inevitable. Big tech companies experienced a surge in revenue and profits during the pandemic. That led tech companies to hire at a blistering pace. Now, they are experiencing the post-pandemic hangover. All of this while the United States teeters on the brink of recession. So far, all we have heard about is stealth layoffs at Google. And if you follow this channel, you already know that a stealth layoff is a quiet, individualized layoff. As industry-wide layoffs hit bigger tech names, some Google workers worry they're next. While Google has so far avoided the widespread job cuts that have hit tech companies, That is particularly the case for tech companies dependent on the slumping ad market. Employee anxiety is high, according to employees who spoke on the condition of anonymity. In his strongest language yet, Google CEO Sundar Pichai telegraphed that layoffs are coming to Google. In his Q2 earnings call, Pichai said that Google's performance was far from good. He also said that Google is not performing as well as it should with the employee base that it has. If you follow this channel, you already know that Pichai gave a now infamous speech at the Vox Code conference in Los Angeles. At the conference, Pichai said that he is determined to make Google run on fewer resources as a slew of business challenges emerged. Pichai has set an efficiency improvement target of 20%. There's also been a recent change in how employee performance reviews work inside Google. Travel budgets are declining and there is less swag being handed out. If you follow this channel, you already know the financial narrative of these days. Inflation is raging in many countries of the world. Central banks are aggressively raising interest rates in order to fight inflation. Consumer discretionary spending is weakening as consumers deal with both inflation and rising interest rates. So, corporate marketers are cutting back on ad spending, especially online. Online ad spending is the lifeblood of many big tech companies, especially Google and Meta. So, both companies are being hit hard by these deteriorating macroeconomic conditions. Although, Google may be not hit quite as hard as Meta. Snap announced a 20% workforce reduction back in August. And in high-profile fashion, Twitter just cut half of its workforce. New owner Elon Musk took charge. HP said that it plans to lay off 6,000 employees over the next 3 years. Fortunately for Google, its business has not been impacted quite as hard as many of its peers. But the United States is teetering on the brink of recession. Inflation is raging. And people are having to deal with increasing interest expense for any money that they borrow. Ad revenue from YouTube shrank in Q3 as compared to Q3 of last year. And Google's growth has slowed to pedestrian levels. Google CEO Sundar Pichai committed to reduce headcount growth in Q4. Actually, Google has already cut some employees around the edges. The next generation Pixelbook laptop has been cancelled. Funding for the Area 120 in-house business incubator was sliced in half. Digital gaming service Stadia was shut down completely. And employees are getting nervous about the possibility of more layoffs. How are we going to achieve 20% more productivity? Will refocus be enough or are we expecting layoffs? Asked a Google employee. If you follow this channel, you probably know that Google changed its system for employee performance reviews last week. And this comes at a time when the company is looking for ways to cut costs. But Google employees and executives had a kerfluffle over cutbacks. Things like swag, travel and holiday parties. Rank and file employees complained about a lack of transparency, especially as it relates to travel cuts. They asked why Google was not saving money by cutting executive salaries. Activist Google shareholder TCI Management says that Google has too many employees who are paid too much. Alphabet disclosed median compensation valued at $295,884 for 2021, which is also excessive, said the TCI letter. We acknowledge that Alphabet employs some of the most talented and brightest computer scientists, the letter continued. But these represent only a fraction of the employee base, the TCI letter added. For non-engineering staff, the letter read, compensation should fall in line with other technology companies, the letter continued. TCI wants Google to increase its share buybacks. The TCI letter also drew specific attention to self-driving division Waymo. TCI says that Waymo has failed to justify its excessive investment. Google recently reported its second consecutive quarter earnings and revenue misses. Google employees have become known for a practice called rest invest. But I think it is fair to say that those days are over. But what do you think? Please leave us a comment below and hit the like button. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. Thank you for watching.